You know, sometimes we have to stand in our own truth. And one of my lessons in life was needing to stand in my truth and facing people gaslighting me, emotional manipulation that makes you question, is it me? Am I wrong? The behavior of when they're okay with everyone else, but with you it's different. Because you unsettle the structure in which they are comfortable with. But the structure is based on avoidance. And being that person who seeks genuineness and accountability in order to move forward and in order to grow closer. These people can't handle it. And like I've tried years and years of trying, and years of pain that I thought was true, but really it wasn't. And really all these people tried to shift it onto me, but they deny the actual truth of what happened because it's too hard to look at. While for me, it's been completely different in the sense of I looked at those things really intensely, and relationships and circumstances forced me to look at it. I had relationships that mimicked the same thing I went through. Dynamics that shown the same situations, the same stories, just with other people. For me and my part, it's kind of been forced for me to look at, almost. Like I used to say years ago that spirit doesn't let me get off the hook, basically, with things. But that's been my life, and I'm starting to wake up from how my family and mainly my family, so it's ancestral, how they really just try to switch it on me. And it worked. Even to the point of extremity, of extreme pain, it worked. But then, they must have seen something. Not just a challenge on their structure, but a challenge on their perspectives, a challenge on their growth. Sometimes people aren't at presently able to look at themselves for whichever reason. It helps soothe them. It helps them not look at what's really inside. And that's not my place to decide for other people either. Because I know I spent years trying. But I've gathered a lot of strength and independence. And I know people look at me and they question. They might say I'm low vibrational, depending on the community or circle. Maybe they might have a giggle about it. Maybe they might say I'm different. But I am different. Not that I'm superior. I say the positive part of everything I've been through is that it forced me to not see myself as superior. In fact, it's a thing I have to overcome, as in see the good in me. So I'm actually really appreciative for that factor, because for me it's so important to not be in that space, and I never want to lose my softness. Never want to lose that. And that's what I'm appreciative of. I was going to say something else, but I don't really remember. It's just, I've had family kind of blame me for not talking to them, even though I've explained times and times again. I've had family try to shift the narrative. I've had family gaslight me, call me crazy. There's something wrong with your head. Something's wrong with you. But I just wanted genuineness. And having a family which there was hurts from, I could not move forward unless there was accountability. And regardless of how many times I tried to move forward without that accountability, it never lasted. Like, didn't last forever. I'm still here saying it, because I can't brush things under the carpet. It doesn't work for me like that. And if I don't feel safe to talk to someone, then there's just no point of developing that relationship further, for me at least. And I just want to say, if you've been this person, the black sheep, the person who's seen under the cracks, who wanted to fight for what is right, who wanted to create newness, and that came with a lot of pain, suffering, isolation. You're not alone. You're not alone in that struggle. And regardless of whether people judge you, they see the outside and not what's going on. And they add to those negative thoughts. Like I was saying, people judging people for expressing, that's not the right word, for being in a state of sadness, in the state of grief. For me, it's like my body it closes off, not because I want to, but because it has to. It does not feel safe. But really, I'm actually really happy person and very caring and loving for people I'm close to. when the body goes through days and days of closing itself off, of being in a hyper awareness mode of what is this person communicating, since they communicate passively, and then them communicating passively in a way that hurts you, that you can't just feel safe in your body. That's not a way of living either. So, for anyone who is in that space, it's very similar to like a depression, and I guess in long term, it does end up like that. But it's like a constriction. Your body like it's shielding itself, which in some terms is sort of necessary. It's hard being fully open and being exposed to pain, emotional immaturity. It comes in all forms, right? But you're not alone. And I understand you and I see you. And one day you'll have your own space if you don't already. You may feel tired. You may need to rest a lot. But I wish that for you. That peace, I mean. And you will get it. You're not as bad as everyone's making you out to be, just because you cannot stand on a carpet that has dust, dirt underneath it. That's wobbly. That's not stable. Like the fine carpet. It's wobbly and you can't really stand up straight. Because your body is wobbling and you're like, what is going on? You're not crazy. You're not crazy. You're not bad. You're not horrible. You're not sad in the sense of that's you. Because these people, they like to label you in certain ways that are degrading and to put you down, basically. But I'm just here to say that anything that they have said to get away from accountability is not true. If you're the black sheep, if you choose to have a family one day, you don't have to. You'll recreate what you are looking for. The structure, the safe love, the genuineness between you and your children. Or if that's even just creating that space for you while in a peaceful environment. With a dog, with a cat, alone, with people, friends, whatever it is, you'll get that peace. If you're going no contact, that is, minimal contact. I don't really know about that in the sense of that's not really my part right now. But in other ways it is, I guess. So boundaries. and not taking on stuff that isn't yours to take on, not their emotions, their guilt that gets projected in other ways, passivity. And it's not your fault. It is not your fault this is happening. You did not deserve this. You do not deserve this. It was never your fault. Please remember that. Thank you. You are stronger than you think.